things have escalated. We had talked about these trailing arms last time and going over the suspension design. They are now mounted to the vehicle. Bent up these big old brackets here and pierced through the frame. So this is a tube right here. And maybe, there we go. That goes through the frame, and the bolt then goes through. Beautiful. And that holds that mount, or that end of the trailing arm, right? Through there. The bolt can go through. That way we can keep the same size bolt. We don't have to have a ridiculously long bolt. You can see it down there. And this is large enough to allow us to slip a socket in there. So these puppies go flying all the way back to the axle. We have our mounts on the axle there, which are pretty high up, as you can see. They're like above the bottom of the axle. And then we have this mount on top of the rear end for the upper links. It's kind of a neat little pocketed design. Then the upper control arms go up here to this mounting point on the frame. You see there, that bracket. The hole that they are currently in, just kind of hanging out there, is the 100% anti-squat hole. So I can go above and below that to change those numbers, change the way that it reacts. And it's in the location that doesn't provide any clearance issues. If I was to move this one up or down, then it would be hanging below the frame rails. If I was to move that one up and down, it would do the same, and it would also change the coilover location. If I was to do that, then it was going to make it either up, so it could potentially hit the body at full bump, or I can't really move it down, or it hits the axle. So that's the location for the adjustment. It does give me the adjustability. I'll move around to the back so we can get a better view of the lowers. All right. So back here, you can see those lowers. They angle out some to meet the axle real far out over here, just so I have room for that coilover. So there's about a 4-inch offset from the frame side. Check out those upper control arm mounts here, the triangulation on the upper. So it is a double triangulated, as you can see from this view. I did weld a piece partially on this top so I can mount that upper link bracket. And what I'm currently working on is this coilover bracket here. This is sunken into the frame just because when this thing flexes out, that coilover moves closer as it swings. Yeah, so this is basically where we're at right now. This is the coilover mount that goes on the frame. It's got that same angle as the frame there. It has a threaded bung that's welded in place here. This aluminum piece is just here to hold that separate, so nothing warps during the welding process. Double pass TIG welded. That's 3/16 plate there. Bent up, so nice and beefy. This little cutout here for that hose to exit out the rear. And this front is just for rigidity. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I have the spring. This spring is in here just for testing clearances. Making sure when this thing's flexed out that it's not touching the body or the frame. Yeah, but there's no spring on the bottom, so it allows it to move up and down. So the current location here is ridiculously high. Because we mounted that coilover on the link, and it's about a foot off the axle, it allows us to get more travel out of the link than the shock shaft travel. So it's 14 inches of shock travel, which nets us about 18 inches of wheel travel. Now, is that necessary? No, it's not, and I'm probably not going to use all of it. But it does give me the potential. What we're going to be doing is mounting a limit strap to make it so this thing doesn't actually drop out that far, and we're going to utilize less of that travel, probably around 16 inches, maybe 15. So there's the location that we're going to put that limit strap, and then that'll be onto the frame, prevent the axle from dropping all the way out. So that is the current situation. It's been a lot of work getting this rear suspension in at this point, but it's all coming together. I'm going to be working on this other shock mount, and then when that's all done, I'll do a video of kind of flexing this thing out with both coilovers in it and showing how the suspension reacts. And then we're going to move on to finalizing the truss and just doing some more on the inside as well. I cut out the other fender well on that side, which is kind of neat. Gives us a ton of room to work. And then it will eventually get patched in like this one. You can see I did have to make a bit of a compromise there, putting that coilover mount on the frame. It is behind the seat. It's not too far inboard, basically as far outboard as I could go. So there will be a wheel well tub that comes and goes up over that to prevent any debris or anything from inside the wheel well from entering the vehicle, keeping noise and dust and all that stuff out. So it will be fully sealed. And it still allows the seat room, and I still have a lot of space in between for giant dogs and camping equipment, all that sort of stuff. So, coming together. Not too bad. Just wanted to say thanks to everyone for being patient. I know this video's taken a while for me to make, but I am making progress on the vehicle, and I'm pretty happy with that. I will get back to making these more regularly. Kind of changing the format up a little bit. Instead of doing a bunch of the time-lapse stuff, just doing, overviews at the end. So if you guys like that format, or if you like the time-lapse stuff better, just let me know. We'll kind of tailor it to fit that. But hopefully soon the rear will be on its own weight, and we can move on to the front. Got some kind of neat stuff going on there. Been going back and forth with Mike Day with a steering design that I think you guys are going to think is pretty cool. So, yeah, thanks for following on. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.